All right, I think we can start, and then other people will come in. This presentation will be a little bit more technical about some basic guidelines how you can troubleshoot and configure your MikroTik RouterOS. So this will be mostly about RouterOS and the features that might be some of them are already for you that you know how to use them, but there might be some of them that will be new and you get something new from this. So the first thing is that RouterOS is the same everywhere. So as I told in my first presentation, our our vision is that we don't put any limitation to any of the device. We don't make RouterOS without some features. We put all the features in every device. So it means that we have the same features in the small, the same features we have also in the big cloud core routers. So all features are all the same everywhere. So you need to remember this when you get all our hardware, that you can use all features with this hardware. So the first part is how you can configure RouterOS. What are the management tools that can be used for RouterOS configuration? So currently you can divide 4 big divisions of the way how you configure RouterOS. So the first one, which here is the last one, is the Winbox. Most of us in MikroTik prefer to use Winbox for the configuration. Winbox is a special tool that can be run on Windows as native application, but also, for example, I'm using Winbox on MacOS, and there are no any problems to use it. I'm using Wine HQ. It works fine, and you got all the features like MAC address connection and all the same. So Winbox is a visual way how you can configure RouterOS features. Then the next big part how you can configure is the console. By console you are typing all the commands, and Winbox and consoles are very, very similar. So if in Winbox you are configuring IP address, it will be IP address plus, and you add the address. In console, the command is the same. And we are trying to make the same like sequence for every configuration option. So if it's routing OSPF, the same way you configure OSPF on Winbox. So it is easy to translate, it is easy to use. Then we are developing WebFig. So it is a configuration tool for the web browser. So you can put and make all the configurations through the web browser. It is universal in the way that web browser is available on every device, on a phone, on a laptop, on a tablet. And all the features that are available in Winbox are also available in WebFig. And recently we are starting to develop mobile apps. So at the first we decided to make it for Android, so it's TikUp. If you have an Android phone, and in Korea I think most of the people have either Samsung or LG, so you can use TikUp. It is a native application in that you can get. Now it is available in a development program, but soon we plan to publish it in Google Play Store, so you can configure and use it to configure and manage your MikroTik router. The fastest configuration, or the basic configuration that is required for the device, can be applied by QuickSet. In a QuickSet we have a different type of configuration available that we decided to make for access point, for client, for small home router. There are some sets of commands that are available via QuickSet. They are all available on one page, and you can set basic configuration through there. So if you like to apply configuration in a very fast way, so this is QuickSet. But be aware that as soon as you want to make some advanced configuration, you need to use Winbox, console, of Epic to apply that configuration. So if you want just apply basic configuration, you use Quickset. If you want to apply other normal or advanced configuration, you use Winbox or console. Then recently people start to concern about the security, and there will be steps for simple and basic security that you should apply to your router, to almost any of your routers that is installed in the network. So the first and the simplest part that you need to set a password. That is like very obvious and clear. But also there is one suggestion from us. If you configure your MikroTik username, we suggest to change it to a custom one. Do not use admin, do not use root, do not use other common names that are used by operational system. Use your name and surname, and this will be a first step, like how you can protect your router from brute force attackers. So it is much more difficult for brute force attacker to get Sergey's name than admin name. So this is like a first step security. Configure some custom username and of course set a password. You can set a password from console, you can set a password from Winbox. Here is that menu. You select the user, set a password, type the password, and click OK. The next step, if it is wireless router, you need to set a VPA passphrase. It will protect your network from persons that can connect to your network without permission. But also the important part of VPA is that it will make end-to-end encryption between access point and client. So all the data between access point and client will be encrypted. And the person who is using some IR sniffer will not be able so easily to get this information. So it's like two-step security for wireless, and wireless password is configured via wireless interface security profiles, and then use VPA2, set a password, pre-shared key, and by that you protect your access point by so-called password, and as well enable encryption by ISCCM on between client and access point. The next step in general security is to disable unused interfaces on a router. So by default, MikroTik has interface enabled, and if you reset the configuration without default configuration, there are still Ethernet interface will be enabled. So usually if you have like router with 10 interfaces and you are using 3 of them, other interfaces are left enabled, and perhaps someone will come and connect a cable and try to get access to your device. So to forbid this opportunity, disable the unused interfaces, and they will be disabled, and nobody will be able to connect and do something. The next option you can do is to disable unused packages. So RouterOS, all RouterOS features are provided by packages. The main package is system, and then other packages enables different features. Like, for example, routing provides you with dynamic routing protocols. If you know that you don't use dynamic protocols on your device, you disable that package, and there is no dynamic routing on the device. If you know that you are not using IPv6, you disable IPv6. If you know that this router will never be used for hotspot, you disable hotspot. For example, for CCR, there is a wireless package enabled because you can make a wireless controller capsule on it. But if you know that there is no wireless controller in your network, you disable wireless package. And by that, you disable all unused features on your router. You are saving your resources, and you are saving some RAM and CPU that won't be used on your router. The next thing is to disable IP services. IP service is a place where RouterOS so-called services are operated. By default, there are a few of them, and for example, like a rule of thumb is to disable telnet, because do not use telnet, especially in the public networks, as passwords and username is translated in plain text, and the person might sniff the telnet packets and get access to your router, and then you'll be unhappy, as he might change username and password and intrude into your network. So the first, use SSH or Winbox. SSH is encrypted, and Winbox by default also provides TLS encryption, so by that you can save login to your router from unauthorized access. There are some other services that could be disabled. For example, if you are not using API, you disable IPI. If you are not using FTP server on the router, you also disable it. And here also you may change the ports. So also if the router is installed in public location and it has dynamic address maybe or something else, when you need to open some specific ports to the public, you can change, for example, port of HTTP server to some custom one, so it can save some time for you while attacker will find the right port to use for HTTP. So there is a place where you control all the services. The next thing is MAC server access. So as you know, you can access your MikroTik router by MAC Winbox, for example, when it lists all the devices in the network. So one option, you can disable MAC server on a public interface. So if you have a router connected to a public network, to non-controlled your network, you can disable MAC server on that public interface and put your local interface, or put management interface here, and then only MAC server will work on that specific interface, and on all other interfaces, the router will be saying that it is not able to connect. As well, if you are very paranoid, you can adjust the MAC address of the device, as first 6 letters of MAC address are saying what is the manufacturer of the device. You can put your custom one if you like, and you can adjust MAC address in interface menu and put some random MAC address just to hide that it is manufactured by MikroTik, and use some own MAC address. The next thing is that you can, when you disable MAC servers, there are still in IP neighbor, you can see what kind of MikroTik routers you have in the network. And you can hide this information and disable that service in IP neighbor list. You go to IP neighbor list, and in Discover you select the interface and disable the interface that are not used, that you don't want to show your router, and then router will be removed from neighbor interfaces in this specific interface and network. The next thing is there are some devices with a serial port, like CCR comes with a serial port, and also person, if there is unsecure access, person can connect COM port, and we suggest to disable it. You can do it from Winbox on the console by system console disable, and disable the port. One more thing that I mostly do on my routers, I am disabling the LCD panel, as all the statistical information I can get from the Winbox, and also if router is installed in public location, person can put some configuration command by LCD, and LCD also takes some resources from your router, so I am disabling it usually. By disable the LCD, the command also is provided. Then the next thing, and the last thing for the security, it is always suggested to put your router in a secure location. So if this is like important network, it is better to invest some resources to secure your router, because somebody might get the router, unsolder some part of your device, and try to get the configuration somehow of your device. And by putting router in secure location, you are protecting yourself from it. But if still router is installed in some public location, if it is a router board, one feature that we suggest to use is protected router board, as every router board has a reset button that you can use to reset configuration, run net install, or reset the BIOS of the router board. By the protected router board, you can set the hold button timer. You can put like 10 minutes, you can put like 30 minutes. I think maximum was like 30 minutes or something like that. And then person won't be able to use reset button. Just make sure that you don't forget password of your router, as you then will need to push that button for 30 minutes if you will set that time to 30 minutes. So by that you can protect your router of being reset if somebody like if this router gets stolen, or if the person gets the local access to your router and trying to format or reset the configuration. So this is a few steps and few suggestions on security. The next is some words about the firewall of your MikroTik router. By default, all small home and office devices are coming with firewall. It has some basic firewalls that are trying to protect your network, but they are not like 100% useful for all of the people. But for basic setups, like for 70–80%, they are good enough to provide with necessary security. But still, you can like dig more into firewall and understand how it works, and put some other configuration to a router and to adjust that configuration to satisfy your needs. So basically, we can divide all firewall configuration or firewall concepts to two approaches. One approach is that you drop all untrusted traffic that you don't like and allow everything else. Another is like you allow only specific trusted traffic and drop everything. So by default, if you don't have any configuration on MikroTik firewall, by default every like firewall chain has accepted the end, so you are accepting all the traffic. But you can change it by some configuration, and let's look into a few examples. So MikroTik firewall has by default 3 chains. It is input, forward, and output. Input is the traffic for the router itself. So it is Winbox to a router, Telnet to a router, some web browser to a router. So all the packets are going through IP firewall filter input chain. And we suggest like MikroTik firewall allows you to work with a different type of packets, and we suggest that you accept so-called established packets in the firewall, and you work only with the new packets. So in this example, we have 3 rules. First rule allows ping to your router. Maybe you want to allow ping from everywhere, let's imagine. Then second rule accepts only established and related traffic. And established and related traffic, it means that it belongs to some of the connection that was done to the router before. So then we go to the third router and see that we, in chain input, are dropping everything that is going on interface either one. So we are dropping all the packets that are going to router via Ethernet 1. Let's imagine it's our one connection. Then there is no too much use of that rule. But when we have some traffic from Ethernet 2, let's imagine we are doing Winbox to a router. So Winbox traffic will go through the firewall. It's not a SAMP, but it's already belonged to some connection that is already like was established before, and it is accepted by that rule. So by that we offload our firewall from being loaded by established and related traffic, and it this how it looks in a Winbox, and by that, like, you protect your router from being accessed on public interface, and you get very secure firewall if you, of course, believe to your customers that they're connected in your local network. The next thing is that we suggest to protect your chain forward. Chain forward is used for traffic for so-called customer traffic, or all the traffic that is going through your router board. So when client open a web page, or when somebody is connected to a client device, it is going through a router and it is going through the forward chain. And forward chain is responsible for all customer traffic going through the router. And in the same way, like I told before, we suggest to work with a connection state and allow establishing related. So this is a packet that belong to some of the connection. And then we drop, we may drop the invalid packets. Invalid packets are the packets with the connection state invalid. So those are the packets that don't belong to any of the connection, but somehow appeared on the router. And there is no reason to accept those packets. That's why we are dropping them. And the third rule is to make sure that you have packets from clients that are connected to your local interface, and that you don't have knotted packets on public interface. If somebody pretends to be with knotted packets on the interface either one, we drop this as well. And this is how it looks. Of course, later on you can add your own different other packets and rules that secure your router, but just with these three rules, it will be secure enough to make sure that only your clients get to the internet, and there is nothing unneeded on your router. The next part of the firewall is NAT. So currently we are still using IPv4, and we have many private addresses used all around the world, and we are using NAT to make them work. And NAT in one way is a way how you can protect your customers, because they don't have public IP address, and it means that nobody can make a connection to them. And this is the good way of NAT, so it somehow by design protects your customers. Excuse me, too much talking for today. So this is a this is a table where you can see how packets are going through the router. So this is somehow the table that every network administrator should print and put on the wall, because it shows all the all the places where packets are coming and how they are coming. And you can get it also from Wiki, but this is simplified one where you can see what happened with the packets when it arrives in the router and how it flows through the router. And by that you can apply firewall and NAT rules, and utilize all routers features that are being used by you. So by that we can improve some firewall rules and understand how they are working. So if you want to make a port forwarding to your device, you need to configure the STNAT and source NAT. So for example, you have a server in a local network. You made a firewall rule to SSH server. So here we have an SSH port that forwards traffic to your local device. And then back, we are making the same configuration back so that device, when it is replying to the server, it sends the packets properly. Of course, firewall provides you with some other interesting features, like one of the features that was added recently, that you can make firewall routes with DNS names. So if you want to block some specific DNS address or allow or log, you can make a firewall rule with an address list with like here is facebook.com, and router will put all the Facebook addresses in address list, and you can later work with that address list. So at the end, you can make different address lists and block them in the firewall. And by that, you can use all other DNS names, like whatever you can imagine, and router will put all the addresses into that address list, and then you can accept, block, or do whatever you want. The next configuration example is about how you can protect your router from so-called brute force attack. So these are the rules that allows you to put a person who is making connection to your router. Like, imagine you have SSH open to your router, and you you usually don't do more than one SSH session to a router, like a day or maybe in a minute. So we create those rules, and we put the time at 1 minute. So if we have 2 SSH connection from one address to a router within 1 minute, and then we add that person to a block list for 10 days. So we add those 3 simple rules, and we make sure that nobody can connect to our router within 1 minute with one connection. If it happens, it usually means that somebody is trying to guess a password or something like that. So we put him to block list, and that person, by that rule, is blocked for 10 days. When 10 days pass, we remove the router will remove that IP address, and will check the traffic in a regular way. So these are simple steps from the firewall. As well, you can find other firewall example on the wiki. Like there are many different ones, and firewall has so many matchers that you can use to block and filter packets. So the configuration could be endless. But these are just few short features of it. The next thing is about some features about bandwidth control. So the first thing about the bandwidth control is a fast track. What is a fast track? Fast track is also the feature that's available in default configuration. And here how fast track looks like. And fast track allows you to get much more higher bandwidth even on small devices, because when packet goes in a regular way through all traffic flow steps, it takes some part of kernel that are used for RAM and CPU and so on. And fast track removes some packets from being checked by all those matchers, and by that you can get like 2, even 3 times improvement in traffic. You can check some rules by regular firewall, but if there is a trusted traffic and established and related is usually trusted traffic, you accept the traffic, and it goes in a fast way through your router. And by router board 2012, for example, router board 2011, you can get like 2 times more traffic when this rule is disabled. So it is quite a big improvement if you are using this rule. The next thing, how you can control the traffic, is the queues. Queues is also very like big part of configurations that can be used to control the traffic that flows over your router. And the simplest configuration is to add bandwidth limitation to a customer. Like if you want just add the bandwidth limitation to a customer, you put his address to the target, you put the max limit. So if you like want to set 5 megabits to a customer, you put the 5 megabits to a customer, and this user won't get more than 5 megabits. But Qs also has endless possibilities for the configuration. Like you can build a different kind of structure with allowing and prioritizing specific traffic in a specific time of a day in different kind of ways. And as well, Qs has some algorithms to improve and to provide bandwidth limitation in more interesting ways. And one of them is PCQ. And PCQ allows you to provide with the traffic and distribute traffic in an equal way. For example, you have like 10 megabits available from your ISP, and you have clients number that is changing. You can divide this 10 megabits between all your clients, and when there will be one client, he will get 10 megabits. When there will be 3 clients, you will get like 3 megabits, and so on and so on. And so you can, by one queue, just by configuring one queue, you can equally divide all the bandwidth between the clients. As well, if you have some traffic from ISP that is not controlled, like you don't know, it might be 10 megabits, it might be 20 megabits, you can, in the same way, by PCQ, divide all the traffic between clients. And when there is one client, it takes all the bandwidth. When there are 10 clients, taking bandwidth separated by 10 megabits. As well, by PCQ queues, you can set like 1 megabit to each client. Like all clients get 1 megabit, but with one rule. You don't need to put each rule for one client, like 200 rules for 200 clients, but you set just one queue, set 1 megabit, and every user get 1 megabit. So there are also other PCQ not PCQ queue algorithms available that you can use for clients. And in the wiki we have also different queue configuration examples, and you can use and create your own limitation system, as queues really doesn't have limits how you can configure them. It's just your imagination and your requirements how you need to get this done. The next part of RouterOS that is interesting is the way how you can debug what is happening on your router. So the first part of debugging is the logs. The logs is like the part where you can debug and get the information what is happening on the router. So logs is available in menu log, and you get some logs on the router that are being printed on. By default, there are some logs enabled, but you can improve it and enable much more detailed information on your logs. You can do it in a system logging, and you can put topic debug, for example, to IPsec, to firewall, to route, and you will get all debug information that is happening on your router in the logs. Storing logs in the memory maybe sometimes is not efficient way, as system reboot will bring and erase them down and start everything from the beginning. So we suggest to send logs to remote server, or at least torrent file. So by storing in some remote location, you get an option to analyze the logs after and get information what is happening there. And this everything how you can control logs is happening in system logging and system logging action. So the next step in analyzing the traffic and analyzing what is happening on your router is a torch. So torch is a way how you can see the live traffic on your router, and all the live connection going through the router on the specific interface. So you can see what is the protocol, what is the port, source address, the destination address, and what is the speed of the traffic that is going over your router. So in this example, we see some traffic is going on the router. So by that you can identify that somebody like sending too much some kind of traffic over your router on the specific interface. If you need more detailed information what is going on with the traffic, you can always run a sniffer. And by sniffer you can run a sniffer on RouterOS itself. You can save all the output to the file, and then you can open the sniffer on RouterOS or open it in Wireshark and see what is happening on the router. And as well, it's possible to send the sniffer to Wireshark server on your Linux machine, so you can receive information what is going on the router, what are the packets sent by clients by the sniffer output. So the sniffer allows you to get detailed information what is going on the router. One more option that you can use for the debugging is like when you see that something is not okay with your CPU and CPU load is too big, you can run profiler, tool profiler, and there you can see the process that loads your CPU. So by that you can understand that maybe something is not all right with queuing or firewall and so on. And there you can see distribution of the processes to the CPU. Then more simpler debugging tool is graphing. By graphing you can monitor CPU, memory and RAM, CPU, RAM and disk. As well you can monitor queues in interface traffic. But RouterOS provides you with a wide range of SNMP values that you can send to your SNMP collector and then analyze different kind of traffic, number of clients, and so on and so on. One more debugging tool, or maybe more management tool, is the Dude. The Dude is a special program that is developed by MikroTik, and you can use the Dude for managing your network. You can draw your network, you can put a picture of the server room or of area where you have wireless link, and you can put all the information like number of clients, traffic on the specific interface, and also you can upgrade from the Dude and do many different things on the Dude, how you control the network. So the main suggestion is from us that you, if possible, keep everything up to date. Of course, sometimes if this is too important link or network, you might be like not too comfortable to upgrade all the time. So if everything works, sometimes it's not like a very good idea to disturb it, but we suggest that you keep your RouterOS up to date, because we are fixing issues and software bugs, and the latest version is the best for most times. And currently, for the situation when you have like very important links, we suggest at least 2 versions. So we have 2 type of RouterOS version, and one is the current. So in current we have all software features on all latest features included there, and then we have bug fix version that includes all the fixes. So if you found some major issues in the current version, we include those fixes to a bug fix version. And during the upgrade, you have an option to select channel. Here in the slide you have channel current, but you can also select the bug fix. This menu is available from system packages, and you can automatically update your MikroTik RouterOS version by clicking on download and install, and your router will be upgraded. Here also there is a changelog, so this is what is changed in the version that you want to upgrade. For the last for the last version, we are putting very detailed changelog. So we are putting all the changes and all software, all the modifications that are done to the current version are available in changelog. And by that, you can upgrade your device to the latest version. So some suggestion from MikroTik point of view, what you can do when MikroTik router stops working. So the first thing is to try to run backup router board or backup BIOS of router board device. You can load it by pressing reset button for 2 seconds. And if something got wrong with the router board device, you can get backup one, and maybe with that everything will start to work. If still your router is not getting up and you don't have any access to it, like you don't have access by the COM port, we suggest to reinstall your router. And sometimes you might say that net install is not working for me, so try to net install another router. If other router is working and this one is not working, then the option is to try to reset the configuration. If configuration reset works, so you reconfigure the device and use it later. The next option, if the device has a if the device has a COM port, you can try to see what is going on in the COM port. Maybe you will get some available information and apply necessary configuration and get back access to the device. If nothing of this helped, then you need to change the device to a new one. And if you consider that this device is maybe not so powerful for that place, maybe consider to get more powerful device to handle all the traffic that is going on there. When you have problems to configure configuration by yourself, we suggest to use 3 or even 4 parts where you can get help. So usually your distributor might provide some help how to configure configuration in a simple way. But if you have some extensive configuration, then it is better to contact the consultant and get help from them. We have a very active forum. You can always ask in the forum for help or suggestion from other users. They usually are very friendly and will be happy to help you. And we have our official documentation on wiki.mikrotik.com. There you can find all configuration examples, description for different features, and get the idea how the particular feature can work. So few suggestions how to troubleshoot the hardware and how to get help when your hardware is not working properly. So the first option is to replace all involved accessories. So first is the power adapter. Change power adapter, maybe another power adapter will work and your router will start to work. Check that PoE. Check that PoE module is working. Check the cables. Exchange different cables. Maybe it will help to fix the problem. Then if something is not working with the interfaces, try to change the interface, like the module itself or wireless card. And maybe consider of changing power source if your router is not powering on and something is going on wrong. So maybe just power source that is not enough and you changed it and everything starts to work. If you didn't get help anything, or you think that your software issue is related to software bug, you can contact us. And for the software issue, we are asking for support output file. For example, if you have some configuration issue or some feature is not working properly, we will need a support output file from you. And to get a faster reply, we ask for support output file from the latest version. So just make sure you have the latest software version and the problem is present for you in that version, and then send file to us. If you find that your device is out of memory, then also try the latest version. And if you have still issues with the RAM, that something is like uses your RAM, make like support output file just after the reboot, and then make 1 or 2 files when you have out of RAM, and send it to us, and we will research what is wrong and then try to fix the issue. So as I said, for the situation when your device freezes and not responding, so the same, try to upgrade your device. If the device has console or serial cable, look what is happening when your device is not responding. Maybe there is some debugging information printed on. If it doesn't have COM ports, and support output file will give us that information. If not, if you have a COM port, then just copy that information to a text file. We will later analyze and see what is the problem. If you have other kind of problem, like your device is rebooting or something is not happening right, you also check the same situation with the latest version. If you know the steps how to reproduce the issue, you provide us with the steps, and we will try to reproduce the same issue on our device and network and fix it as soon as possible. To get better support and faster support, it is much that will help us also explain your problem briefly. Sometimes we get explanation for like 5 or 6 A4 pages that is very, very long, like a book. It is much better if you explain in brief points what is wrong. Send all files like support output file or console output or other. If you know how to repeat the problem, include the steps how to repeat the particular problem, and maybe we'll ask you to change some configuration. And when we ask you to change some configuration, then when you reply to us back, it is better than you update us with the latest files and say what you changed. And then we analyze it again, and then maybe we'll fix the issue and fix all the problems that you had. And for us also, if you are writing to MikroTik support, it is better than you reply to our current email, because it will save all the conversation before, and we won't need to search what actually was on that email that you write us a year ago. So in brief, these are the steps how we can like help each other to fix the problem in more quicker way. So this is all for this presentation. If you have any technical questions, come to our desk and ask. We will try to answer them. And so at 1 o'clock we will have lunch in that nearby room. And then we will be back after 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. And if you have questions, ask to our table. We will try to help you. And I think that you can maybe you can try to go a lunch. It may be already available.